Hey, this is James Francis, and we're now getting very close to the year 2017. Are you excited? I am, because I have a great exercise for you today, which is very simple to do, and will basically guarantee you to achieve your goals in 2017. And I'm not talking by December or October somewhere, where you've got to spend ages achieving them. I'm talking it's going to simplify the whole process to the point where even a child could do it, so you achieve your goals in the next few weeks or months, okay? So here's what you need for this. You need two very technical things for this, right? You need a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper. That's it, okay? I've already screwed up one side of the thing, so this is the second take of this video because I thought of a better way of doing it, but here we go. So we have the first thing at the top of the page would be your goal. So most people set very generic goals for the New Year's resolution. So they say, I want to lose weight, or I want to have a successful or profitable business. And that's not very good, because at what point do you see your goals being achieved? With something as generic as I want to have a profitable business, at what point do you see it as profitable? Is that based on the amount of sales you make, or when it hits a specific number, or whatever? So I want you to create a goal which is specific, okay? Because then you know when you've achieved it. First takeaway point from this video, okay? If you make it specific, then you can actually break that goal down into steps to achieve that goal. So it needs to be specific, not only for that, but so you can know when you achieve it, and that's when you can celebrate and have a glass of wine to yourself or whatever, right? So what you need to do is at the top of the page, hopefully you can see it from the little camera down there, but you should just put a little bullet point and put that big goal, whichever that goal may be. So in my case, let's say as an example, for a complete beginner, it may be to have their first 1,000 subscribers on their email list, because once you have your first 1,000 subscribers, you can start to build momentum in your business and start to get more and more sales coming in, right? So let's say to get first 1,000 subs, which is short for subscribers. Obviously my handwriting is terrible because I'm leaning over to the table and can't really write anyway, right? I've got a writing style of a doctor or something. It's terrible. But let's say you put your big goal at the top. Now what I want you to do is to think of all of the elements which make up that goal. So what would you need to do to make your first 1,000 subscribers, or to get them onto your list? So the first thing you need is, obviously, you need to have a squeeze page, okay? So let's write down squeeze page, okay? And then if we have below that, what's another thing you need? Well, you need to understand how to drive traffic. So it could be understand traffic. Okay, and if you're stuck for ideas of what makes up these things, think about it in terms of knowledge, skills, and tools. Okay, so what knowledge do you need to be able to do this thing? So for example, with the squeeze page example, what you need to make up the big goal is, you need to understand what a squeeze page is. You need to understand what makes up a good one. So think about your big goal at the top being your big ass goal, and the little ones below it being the small ass goals, right? Very technical terminology there, but it just helps you to understand everything. So all of these little ones here are smaller ass goals, right? So within these, of course, you can break them down even further. So with a squeeze page, maybe you are not really sure of how to create one yourself using HTML or templates which you need to edit weirdly with code. Instead, maybe a better option for you may be to use something like lead pages or anything similar. So let's write that down as well. So lead pages. So that could be a solution to not knowing much about squeeze pages, because they already come with templates. And this is not a pitch video for lead pages or whatever. I'm literally just showing you what I would do in my business, okay? Because I use lead pages myself. Anything like that would be perfect, so like ClickFunnels or Instapage, whatever you want to use is completely up to you. But that just simplifies the whole process, especially for beginners. The next thing could be to understand traffic. So maybe you need to purchase a program all about traffic. I have one about Facebook ads on my website if you want to check that out. Otherwise, feel free to choose any other traffic source out there which is scalable, dependable, and is affordable as well. So you don't have to put down like $1,000 just to be able to start using it. You want to start small and scale up from there. And personally, I love Facebook ads because you can do that with pretty much any new business. The next thing maybe you would need is to set up Aweber, really. So that would be what is there to hold your subscribers, to be able to contact with them. So think of it like your subscribers' house, really. So let's just put Aweber there, or you could of course use ConvertKit or GetResponse, iContact, Infusionsoft, whatever you want to use really. So it could be any of those would be fine. So you would need that to be able to achieve that big ass goal. Do you see what we're doing here? We're just kind of thinking about the smaller goals within that bigger goal. Now, if you would have previously just said, I want to have a profitable business, it's very overwhelming to know all the different elements that make up that bigger goal. But now we've written it down for a specific goal, we can actually get to work on implementing those things. We can actually have action steps for each of those items. So it could be that with each of these things, you have a deadline. And this is the next step in this process, that we should have deadlines for these things, because otherwise it's just going to end up that we say, oh, I'll do it at some point. And of course that never happens really, does it? I'm sure you've set goals in the past and you've never actually achieved them when you thought you were going to, and it's taken a lot longer than you thought. Whereas when you set deadlines to things, specific deadlines, that's when you create the good kind of stress required to get these things done. So you'll make sacrifices elsewhere in your life, maybe get up an hour earlier than you would before going to work and work on your business, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be like that forever. You're only doing this temporarily to get your business off the ground and to get it profitable so you can replace your job with a more freedom style business, right? So it's all about the whole freedom thing, right? So let's say squeeze page, what point would you like that done by? Realistically, that would take you a day using Leadpages, okay? By a day, I mean a typical working person's day, so maybe an hour or two, because they have tutorials, they actually give you a template, all you do is fill in the blanks, okay? So that would take you maybe a few hours. Let's just put 2 hours there. And that's just not me doing it, that's a brand new beginner doing it, okay? The other thing you may need is a lead magnet. So it's a bribe which says, hey, you get this awesome thing if you opt into my list. So that may take you, let's say, 3 or 4 days of an average working person's week, let's say. So let's write that down as well. Okay, so then if you're not sure what a lead magnet is, guess what? You have to figure out what that is. You have to learn. You have to have the knowledge for that. So it would be learn about lead magnets. Okay, so that would be that step there. And again, we can set deadlines to all of these things. So let's say squeeze page, 2 hours work. Let's say we start back at our online business January the 2nd, on the Monday I think it is this year, and that would mean that you can possibly get it done by January the 7th at the very latest. So let's say January 7th for that. So notice that we're not saying January 3rd, because life may get in the way. We're allowing for that contingency time, okay? So that would be January, if I could write properly, let's say the 7th. Okay, and you will do that for every single item in this list here, and you will do this exercise for every goal that you have. I don't recommend having any more than 3, because you can always add new goals if you complete the previous ones, but it's quite difficult to remove goals once you've already had them, because there's the ego thing. You feel like you've lost if you remove them. So it's always good to have fewer goals than too much on your plate at the same time. That way you can achieve things and feel good about them when you do that, and that will encourage you to achieve more, right? So that's what you need to do. Of course, if you would like some help with all of these items, if that is possibly your goal, and you're watching this video, yes, I want to make my first 1,000 subscribers, I want to make my first $10,000 profit, whatever it may be. If you want to get your online business off the ground, I have a great new program coming in the middle of January sometime, which is going to be called the Freedom Formula, okay? And it's basically the accumulation of everything I've learned in the last 8+ years of my online business, making several millions of dollars in sales and working with literally thousands of different coaching clients in their businesses in all different niches to find the fastest point to making your first $10,000, your first $100,000 from your online business. Okay, so it's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be all professional like this with professional lighting and whatever. So it's going to be completely brand new stuff. If you would like to learn more about that when it comes out, feel free to hit the link or button below this video to join the early bird list for that program. Okay, it's going to be quite a low-end program, so I want it to be accessible to everyone who is serious about building a successful online business. So don't expect some $1,000 price tag or above. Okay, it's going to be affordable for everyone. So put your name down on the early bird list below this video if you want to. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this exercise. Go ahead, do it yourself, and I want to see some comments from you guys and girls. You know, with your own goals for the next year as well. So go ahead, leave them below this video as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Speak to you soon. See you in the new year. Bye bye.